You've heard the rumours. A new 10-year, maybe even a 15-year wait for indefinite leave to remain in the UK. But what if I told you that's not the whole story? What if some people could get their settlement in just 3 years? Or 5? Or 7? The UK government has just released a bombshell proposal that completely changes the game for migrants, and your future could depend on your earnings, your job, and even how well you speak English. Many people think every migrant is now facing a decade-long wait, but that is simply not true. Today, we are tearing this new government document apart, piece by piece, so you can find out exactly where you stand and what you need to do. Stick around, because the details in here will surprise you. Before we dive into the deep end, do me a huge favour and hit that subscribe button right now. Alright, let's get straight into it. The government is floating a new baseline, a 10-year path to settlement for most migrants who don't have it yet. But, and this is a huge but, there are massive exceptions. Before we even get to the timelines though, you need to understand the 4 pillars that your entire application will rest on. These are non-negotiable. They are character, contribution, integration, and residence. First, your character. This is all about your conduct. Are you a law-abiding resident? Have you followed all immigration rules to the letter? The document is clear, any criminal record at all, and the conversation about ILR stops right there. It's a non-starter. Then there's contribution. This is about what you give back to the UK economy and society. Are you paying your taxes diligently? Do you have any outstanding debts to the government? They want to see a positive financial footprint and proof that you are contributing. Next is integration. How well have you woven yourself into the fabric of British society? This isn't just about passing a test. It's about understanding British values, participating in your community, and maybe even volunteering your time. Finally, there's residence. This is the obvious one. You have to have lived here continuously for the required period. But the proposal makes one thing crystal clear. Residence alone is not enough. Just because you've been in the UK for 5 or 10 years doesn't mean you're automatically entitled to settlement. You must satisfy all 4 of these conditions together. So, assuming you tick all those boxes, let's talk about how you can slash that 10-year wait time. This is where it gets really interesting. The government is proposing a system of reductions. First up, your language skills. If you can prove you have passed an English language test at the advanced C1 level, that's 1 year knocked off your time. You could get ILR in 9 years instead of 10. But that's just the start. The biggest reductions come from your financial contribution. If you have earned a taxable income of £125,140 per year for 3 consecutive years right before you apply for settlement, you get a massive 7-year reduction. That means you could get ILR in just 3 years. Now, we must all have it at the back of our minds that these things are still proposals under consultation. But we've all seen how quickly some proposals become law, so it's vital to understand what could be coming down the line. What if you're not in that top earner bracket? There's another tier. If you've earned a taxable income of £50,270 per year for 3 years straight, that's a 5-year reduction for you. You'd be on a 5-year path to ILR. The government is also looking to reward specific professions. If you've been employed in a key public service job for 5 years, you could get ILR in 5 years. They specifically mention examples like nurses, doctors, and teachers. Your community involvement also matters. If you have a strong record of volunteering in your local community, you could see a reduction of 3 to 5 years. This could mean getting ILR in 5 to 7 years, depending on the nature and level of your voluntary work. There are also some categories that are not up for debate and are set in stone. If you hold permission as a parent, partner, or child of a British citizen and you meet the core family requirements, your route is 5 years. This part is not subject to consultation. Similarly, if you're here on the British National Overseas route, your path remains at 5 years, and this is also confirmed. For those on a global talent visa or an innovator founder visa, the timeline is even shorter. You're looking at a 3-year path to ILR, a huge 7-year reduction from the baseline. Now, here is a critical piece of information you cannot miss. You can't stack these benefits. The proposal states that only one of the listed considerations, the one that causes the largest reduction, will be applied in the case of any single application. So you can't say you're a high earner and you volunteer and you have a C1 English level to try and get ILR in 1 year. It doesn't work like that. They will take your single biggest qualifying factor and apply that one reduction. One person, one reduction. Just as there are ways to shorten your wait, there are also penalties that can add years, even decades to your journey. This is the part everyone needs to be very careful about. If you have received public funds when your visa conditions said you shouldn't, even for less than 12 months, they are proposing to add 5 years to your settlement route. So if you were on a 10-year path, it suddenly becomes 15 years. If you've been a recipient of public funds for more than 12 months, the penalty is even more severe, an extra 10 years. That 10-year route just became a 20-year marathon to settlement. Do you see now how this is not a one-size-fits-all system? Your personal circumstances, your choices, and your actions will directly dictate your timeline. The penalties get even harsher. For applicants who arrived in the UK illegally, for instance via small boats, they are looking at adding up to 20 years to their route. The same goes for someone who entered on a visit visa and then tried to stay. And if you've overstayed your permission for 9 months or more, you're also facing a potential 20-year addition. Imagine coming here at 40 years old and only becoming eligible for settlement after you turn 60. These are the serious implications we need to consider. Now, let's talk about the dreaded 15-year route. A lot of the conversation has focused on care workers, but the 60-page document is much broader than that. It doesn't single out one profession. It refers to low-skilled occupations, specifically those below RQF level 6. This means a whole range of jobs could fall into this 15-year pathway if this proposal becomes law. Let's look at some examples from the official occupation code lists. We're not just talking about carers. This could include medical secretaries, legal secretaries, school secretaries, receptionists, and typists. In the construction sector, it could affect roofers, plumbers, carpenters, plasterers, painters, and decorators. In hospitality, it could be chefs and cooks. Of course, care workers and home carers are on that list, but so are senior care workers. Even in the IT industry, roles like IT operations technicians and web content technicians could be impacted. It's a very long list, and you really need to check it for yourself. This raises a huge question that the document doesn't answer. What about the people on this 15-year route? Can they reduce their time by earning more or by volunteering? The proposal focuses all the reductions on the 10-year baseline. It's completely silent on whether someone on a 15-year path can get it down to 10 or 12. This is a massive grey area, and hopefully the government provides clarification soon. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.